It is time once again for CAW Wars, featuring Hulk Hogan versus Hulk Hogan. Featuring the 1980s version of the superstar who would go on to win a combined total of over 12 world championships, 6 in the WCW and 6 in World Wrestling Federation. Two-time Royal Rumble winner, 1990 and 91, and 2005 Hall of Fame inductee. Tonight, Hulk Hogan goes against Hulk Hogan in Star CAW Wars. All right, everybody, welcome back. Vince McSham with you here. And it is time for another edition of CAW Wars. Becky Lynch had herself one hell of a night last night on Raw. You know I don't watch Raw, Theo, so you're going to have to give me more details than that. Did she hurt Ronda? Let's bring the volumes up on this, shall we? All right, these are the two that I personally liked. Again, I was looking strictly at 80s Hogan. I wasn't doing NWO or anything like that. And out of the ones that I found, these are the two that kind of popped to me that I liked. So these are the two I selected to go head-to-head tonight. First, we'll do as we do in CAW Wars history here, is we're going to pop each one open and get a close-up look, and then we'll see how they look in-game, and then you guys will start voting when it's all said and done. So let's begin that. So apparently Becky Lynch did something. I don't know what she did yet. Jim Powers real. Huh? What do you mean? Is he real? I mean, he's a real dude. He's really a created wrestler. All right, here's our first Hulk Hogan. Now, this one almost has a little bit more of a comic book kind of thing going on, but as you'll see, once we get in gameplay, it actually looks pretty good. Now we get insight on this face scan, and again, this would normally concern me a lot, but it's not showing up so much in the actual gameplay. And that's really, at the end of the day, what matters the most. Tell you, the women are doing so much better right now than the guys. It's not even funny. All right, well, that just means Becky goes down at the pay-per-view, but that's okay. We kind of knew she would. All right, one of the things this guy did, which I kind of liked, was add a little bit more hair in the back so that Hogan had a younger effect here, and I thought that actually worked out pretty well for it. Ah, look at that, man. Now they're even letting them show color. I might have to check out a clip of that somewhere later on. Looks like he... I'm not a big fan of this. I mean, you can get away with it in some cases, but it looks like he probably did one of the body scans, and you've really got to... It's more headache than it's worth, because now you're trying to match the body skin tone as well as the face skin tone, and not a fan. All right, so that is the first one there. Well, I guess we could take a look at... Hold on a minute. Our attires here. What do we got? We've got the yellow and red and the red and yellow shirts. Everything else is identical. And again, this is 80s style. That's what I was looking for. Well, it's definitely not all about Vince at this point in time. There's a lot of other people in creative that aren't carrying things the right direction. Again, Vince is almost out at this point. I mean, he's got his XFL thing, and that is his number one focus, and it has to be. Yeah, like I said, the women are owning it right now. They really are. All right, so that's the first Hogan. Let's get a look at our second Hulk Hogan. Then we're going to throw them head-to-head, and then you guys are going to say which one you think is best. All right, this one was a little bit more realistic looking, but again, it only matters how they look once you put them in the ring. Oh, I don't doubt that Harold up until like the last year. But at this point in time, A, they're a publicly traded company. B, he is doing the XFL, and that he's admitted that's where the majority of his focus is on. He's not a young guy. He's turning over the reins, maybe not as quickly as a lot of people would like, but he doesn't have the level of control and input that he's had in the past because he's not there as often as he's been in the past. He's not at every Raw anymore. He's certainly not at SmackDown. So, you know, he may call it in, but at the end of the day, you got Stephanie and Triple H are more and more, and Shane, more and more calling the direction of things. Oh, Nia. Always good for injuring somebody. All right, let's get a close-up look, shall we, at this one here. Well, I guess it would help if I get into close-up look mode. And again, this one a little bit more realistic. Face scan a little more evenly matched up to everything else. I'm not sure what's going on around the sinus area there. It almost looks like silly putty was put over there. But again, it matters is how it looks in the ring. And I can tell you from having done a little bit, we got the Trace logos there. This one here may be a little over-muscled, you know, kind of more arcade looking. But I could always tone that down just slightly. And let's go to the attires here, and I think it's going to be almost identical. Instead of the Hulkamania, we got the Hulk Rules shirt and then the Hulkamania shirt. So it does give you two options that way. He's also got two different headbands going on here. So, I mean, all in all, so far as the tires are concerned, I'd say they break about even. And then, depending on your personal desire, if you wanted something a little bit more arcade-like, they're each arcade-like in their own way. The other one, I think, facially is. This one, I think, physically is. Yeah, I've been a Becky fan from day one, man. She's got a great look. She's gorgeous. I mean, that face, holy shit. And damn, she can wrestle. All right, we're going to put these two boys head-to-head here. And we are going to begin CAW Wars. Just wondering if I had done something there yet. No. All right. All right, here we go. So we're going to take our first Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan. And this is the one I've been using pretty much up until this point in time. And again, the win-loss doesn't matter because these guys tend to do their own thing. Yes, Harold, it was. All right. By the way, speaking of women's division, really, really hoping Alexa Bliss turns out okay. This is terrible right now. That girl's been lighting things up, and I've been a huge fan of hers from the beginning, but even when she made the turn to heel from that little blue cheerleader, didn't think anybody's going to pull that off, and she just knocked it out of the park, and nothing but love and respect for her. Hope she does well and gets to get back in the ring. Too many of these ladies getting hurt. Oh, dude, she hasn't been in the ring in a month now, at least. And even when she did, it was a tag team match that she was barely in. She took a pretty serious concussion, and there's question as to whether she'll get back. If Paige is still around, I'm sure she is. She's the GM of SmackDown. She won't be in the ring again. Yeah, but who the hell wants to see her as a GM, man? She's great in the ring. And she's just getting into her prime, man. This is not the time for this. This is just, there's never a good time, but this is wrong. Ronda did it to her by accident, but still, it's like, shit. Gotta be more careful. All right, here we go. It is time for the CAW Wars. It wasn't about being stiff. It was just, you know, one of those things that happens. I think her knee caught her or something like that. By the way, if you haven't checked out the Twitter account, I put a video up there of some sick friggin' shit that took place in ROH. It was a botch, but my God, I don't know who the two guys are. And I'm not sure the one guy's alive. But check out that thing. It's insane. Theo, do you know who those guys are?
Making his way to the ring from Venice Beach, California, weighing in at 302 pounds, Hulk Hogan.
So, dude tried doing the hell was it? A power bomb or some shit off the top rope? I could have been. I honestly, I don't know. It was just a gift. But when he came, went up for like a suplex or a powerbomb, whatever he was trying to do off top rope, as he had the dude up, his foot slips, and they both come crashing down. The problem is the dude was upside down. His head first struck the top rope and then immediately struck the ring apron on the way down. And again, just not sure how you get up and walk away from that. But anyway, if you want to go check it out on Twitter, it's on my Twitter thing. At Invasion Nation. The last N in the word invasion is also the first N in nation. So you share the N. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the CAW Wars. Hulk Hogan, number A, or letter A. Let's go with number 1 and 2, shall we? Number 1 is the guy currently winning the match. And Hulk Hogan, number 2, is the one being lifted to his feet. We will try to maintain order as to which one is which. Number 2 has the Trace logo on his knee pads. All right, Jimmy Jacobs and B.J. Whitmer, and which of those poor suckers came down on his head twice in less than a second? And is he alive? I can't imagine you could ever wrestle again after that. Like, physically, I wouldn't imagine you'd be able to. Between the neck damage, the friggin' brain damage, I mean, it was I've seen some brutal shit. I mean, short of anybody dying. That's up there with that Vic Grimes shit off the top of the scaffold, missing all the tables because New Jack tried to legitimately kill him. Where he bounced off that top rope and shot around. I would say that might be the only thing I've seen in wrestling that was more disturbing in the way of a botch. Both of these guys have the movesets down. They each had good entrances. Right now, Hulk number 1 is getting his butt kicked. Oh, I hate New Jack with a passion. He's a piece of shit. Never belonged in the business. He's not a wrestler in any way, shape, or form. Has no respect for anyone. Man, I didn't hear about Ray Ray. Creative had a difficulty. Yeah, well, you know what? That's the politics of wrestling anywhere, I guess. All right, Hogan going to the claw to the ribs. I don't remember ever seeing him do that. Maybe in Japan he did. This is Hogan number 2, raking the eyes. Oh, he's going to go down 80s dirty style. Yeah, well, friggin' Abdullah's a piece of shit as well, man. You got Hep C and you know about it. That guy's a piece of shit. Could it be? There's the leg drop. Two count only. Hogan number 2 got the first opportunity here. He is jacked up. Samuel, there are 2 Hulk Hogans because we are having Call Wars. In a moment, you get to vote on which one is the best of the 2. They are 2 separate Hulk Hogan creations. Right now, that's Hulk Hogan number 1 dropping the leg on number 2. Will that be enough? Boy, they've each kicked out of the big, dastardly leg drop. I have never heard about Bob Orton having anything in the way of like a Hep C thing. It doesn't mean he didn't. I just never heard of it. Well, you know, the thing is, if you go based on what WWE, WWF, WCW did with Hulk Hogan, he doesn't have a great moveset. Look at his work over in Japan. The guy actually could wrestle. I mean, I'm not saying he was an amateur great, but he had moves. And he had some great matches over in Japan where they let him wrestle. But Vince determined it's like, you don't need to. Number 1 going for the cover again, and number 2 kicks out the back door. And then again, Hogan was just Hogan. I mean, he was so friggin' over. By the way, for you guys that are around all the time and know, me and Uncle Jimmy Cornette has kind of had words. I don't even care if he blocks me again. I'm on a second account. And if he blocks me again, damn, look at the way the tights kind of break away there. That's indecent looking. I thought 2K would actually repair some of the problems they had last year, but they're actually worse now. It's like a guy's balls are hanging out in your face. Yeah, I've seen the match with Hogan and Stan Hansen. It was brutal. And there is your winner. I'm not even sure if it was number 1 or number 2. We'll find out in just a moment. Yeah, he didn't need a big move set because he was Hulk Hogan, man. He had the 24-inch pythons, and he could just wail away on you, and it was totally believable. I remember when he was in his heyday back in like '86. It was just after Mania. And he was teaming with Orndorff right after, you know, Orndorff had the breakdown with him and Piper. It was at the Nassau Coliseum, probably the event after the Saturday night main event that followed Mania. And it looks like it was number 1 that got the win. But that doesn't matter. What matters is right now. I need you guys to vote. Which of these Hulk Hogans were you more impressed with? Is it this guy right here, number 1, or was it Hulk Hogan, number 2? Just put a 1 or a 2 in the comment section now. And even though I am located in the state of Florida, I'm going to try and do this without a recount. I'll tell you right now, Florida elections. Uh-oh. We may have a runoff. 1 for number 2, 1 for number 1. Aaron's got number 1. My vote's definitely going to go for number 2, by the way, so we're tied. Let me make it official. Well, it's not even Florida. That's a bad rap. It's Broward County, and that bitch should be executed. That's treason what she's doing. She's creating ballots that didn't exist. All right, we're going to go another minute here. Somebody's going to have to break this up. We're tied right now. We've got 2 for number 2. We've got 2 for number 1. What's happening in Florida is what happens every time we have an election in this country. They can't do their job right. Now we have to recount all the ballots, including the fake ones, because their candidate wasn't winning and they didn't like that, so they're going to try and make 50,000 votes disappear. And they've done a pretty good job of it so far. Theo, I did not know you're in the West Coast. How are things out there right now? I know with the wildfires, I was watching some video of people driving through those wildfires to get out, and man, my blood pressure was going through the roof. It was frightening to watch that video. Gary coming in with number 2. Sean coming up with number 2, and suddenly number 2 jumps to number 1. Yeah, California's a long state, so it's easy to be there and not have to be affected by these things. Man, you know, people talk to me all the time, how do you live in Florida with all those hurricanes? It's like, shit, California got earthquakes, mudslides, wildfires. Pick your poison. Yeah, Carolina has been having their own little version of this drama, but first off, they don't have the history we have. And I'm not as up on yours right now as I am on mine, but is there controversy in it in the sense that We have a person in charge. What is that bitch's name? Brenda Snipes. Over in Broward County. Somehow she's in charge of elections still. Even though 2 years ago, she admits she walked in and saw some of her people just filling out ballots. Nobody got arrested. Nobody got fired. And they are all still there doing their job. Are you fucking kidding me? That is treason. That is punishable by death in any state. I tell you right now, electrocute the bitch and see if anyone else wants to rig an election. I'll throw the switch. I got no problem with it. Oklahoma, nothing. Well, that's not true, man. Oklahoma flipped. And that shocked the shit out of me, being, you know, country folks and all that with steers and that kind of lifestyle. A million years I wouldn't have thought they'd have voted for a Democrat. No, man, how Florida's been red forever. With rare exceptions here and there, but Florida's been a red state. The only iffy thing is how bad are we going to fuck up an election? See, that's the problem. When the Democrats can't win, they got to cheat. And that's one thing they've done in Florida really well. Is America's Etch-a-Sketch. That's funny. Never heard Robin say that. And look, the recounts will have different recounts, and they'll have different numbers each time because whether you do it by hand, whether you do it by machine, there's a level of error. But the reality is this. No, I did a Jim Cornette rant on Jim Cornette, who's really not happy with me right now. But I got sidetracked. What was I saying about the recounts? When Tuesday night ended, Governor Scott, who will be Senator Scott, won by 50,000 votes. That's 50,000, 50,000 votes. Not a blowout victory, no, but a concise victory, and you've won. With margin of error, you've won. When you do recounts, you might find an extra couple of hundred votes here and there. That's all you're going to get. But all of a sudden, this bitch in Broward is finding, there was a whole box of votes we had in the school that we didn't know about. Well, A, bullshit. B, if they were left unattended, they're no good. They're contaminated. You can't use them. She's counting them. And here's the kicker. Out of all these votes she keeps finding, she's found some under her bed, she's found some here, she's found some up her ass. It went from a real election day number of maybe 55% going towards the Republicans. But in hers, it's 90% Democrat, 10% Republican. How is that possible? When the entire state was going 55%, yours happens to be 90. Nobody has 90% of nothing. There's no 90% Republican county. There's no 90% Democrat county anywhere on the face of the country. Well, that's the thing, man. I wasn't talking to him about politics. I wasn't even talking to him. I was talking to someone else, and he jumped in on it. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I'm trying to remember what the hell it even was. But it was one of those deals where it's just like, gosh damn it, how can you be so fucking stupid to say what you said? Jill Stein, there's a name. Yeah, I do happen to recall now that you're bringing that up. All right, let's see here. By the way, Stan Lee passing away, that was terrible. I mean, yeah, guy lived to be like 94 years old, but it had to be with Rick Scott. Now I can't figure it out. Let's see. And that Saturday Night Live skit, too, that got all that backlash for the skit that they did about the now senator who lost his eye in combat. Oh, here we go. But I can't find his brother. It was Obama had posted something to all our veterans and your families. Thank you. There's no tribute that can truly match the magnitude of your service and sacrifice, but all of us can do our best to live up to the American values of service, responsibility, generosity, and citizenship that you helped defend. And I responded by saying, says the guy who depleted the military over his 8-year reign. Factual data, you can look it up if you don't want to believe me. What he did to the military budget was disgusting. We're lucky we didn't get invaded. Saturday Night Live has been horrible and unwatchable for 2 decades. They haven't been good since the 80s. Let's call it the way it is. You're hard-pressed to find a legitimate laugh on that show. Yeah, how about that? Good call, Theo. Nevada voted for a dead pimp. The guy who owned brothels died a month before the elections. They knew, and they still voted for him over the Democrat. And there is an argument that can be made that a dead Republican could do a better job than a living Democrat. But I'm not finding Jim Cornette's response. I wish I could remember what it was he got all pissy about. Oh, here it is. Got it. It wasn't about that. So here's the situation. Jim Acosta, if you don't know who Jim Acosta is, he's a walking piece of shit. He thinks he's a news person. He's not. He pretends to be a CNN news anchor of sorts. He gets to go to the presidential press briefings take place at the White House. Somehow he's got fucking front row seats, which I'm surprised that is allowed to happen at this point in time because he's been such a dick. So here he is. He's got the microphone. He's asked, not even questioned. That's what they're supposed to do. Is they're supposed to ask questions, and tough questions are perfectly legitimate. What he does is he baits the president in a very obvious manner, and then they get into a back and forth with words. It's never a question. It's always an accusation or a challenge. So he got his couple of little blurbs out there, and then, like every president does, okay, next. And he wouldn't sit down, and he wouldn't give up the microphone. So this 21-year-old intern, this little girl, comes over to take the microphone. It's her job. And he does, it's going to sound a little bit more than it would look to watch it, but he does a chop block on her arm as she reaches for the microphone. Now, does he do a vicious chop and try to hurt her? No. But it's assault. That's battery. That is battery. Why he wasn't arrested, I do not know. If that kid was my daughter, it's like, you better press charges. I don't give a shit about internship. I don't care if you never work in Washington. His ass goes to jail for that. Watch the video. Don't take my word for it. So here he is, chop blocking this 21-year-old girl's arm, and he doesn't like the fact that he's getting called out because, God forbid, if a Republican would have done that, holy shit, CNN would have run 24/7 on that. They, of course, are defending Jim Acosta to the teeth. And he comes out, Jim Acosta does, says, don't believe the lies coming from the White House. Believe in our freedom. Thank you for all your support. We don't back down. You don't back down to a 21-year-old girl. Hey, Jim, try that shit with me, motherfucker, and see what happens. So I wrote back to that piece of shit, and I said, you're a divisive piece of shit. I'll believe my eyes. And I wish that the young lady would have pressed charges on you for battery. The body doesn't lie, which I actually meant to say the video doesn't lie, but, you know, friggin' autocorrect shit. Just you do, and that shit stable you call a news network. Well, to that, Mr. Cornette wrote somewhere, where is it now? Maybe he deleted it or something, or he's probably blocked me again, and now I can't see it. Anyway, he basically said, yeah, you can believe the doctored video if you want. So I said to him, exactly what video was doctored? Not the one I've seen on numerous networks where he was told 3 times to give up the microphone after making statements and then physically blocked a 21-year-old girl's arm away. Please link the real video that exists since mine has been edited. And, of course, there's no response. I'm guaranteeing you he's probably blocked me. I don't give a shit. Fuck Jim Cornette. I'm sick of him now. The fact that he would make that comment, you can believe the doctored video if you want, when it's obviously not doctored. It happened live, you stupid ass. This is what's wrong. I've got friends who are Democrats. I don't give a shit. Everyone's entitled to their beliefs and their opinions. But here's the difference. When I see someone on my team do something I know is wrong, I hold them accountable and I call them out. The Democrats won't do that. No matter what their side does, there's a reason, there's an explanation, there's a forgiveness. It doesn't work both ways, though. And that is why they keep on losing things. And that's why they're going to keep on losing things in 2 more years. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If that happened to someone in his family, if it was his daughter, niece, wife, mom, you know, oh, it'd be a whole different story now, wouldn't it? You can believe the doctored video if you want. You stupid motherfucker. Anyway, didn't have any intention of getting off on that. But there we go. We did. So I will not be dealing with Jim Cornette anymore in any way, shape, or form. I'm no longer going to be looking at his podcast or any of his shit. I mean, I just, people like him, you can't, they're a waste of your time. They're just a waste of your time. There's no rush. I had a friend of mine, and I say had because I cut him loose too. Back when Obama decided to allow 5 of the Iraqi generals that we had in Guantanamo Bay. If you remember back Desert Storm, there were the trading cards. They were like poker cards where they were done with the faces of the Al-Qaeda leaders that the military guys got. And, you know, the aces, of course, were the highest ranking guys. And basically, you were trying to collect cards, you know, by getting these guys. And they did. They got 5 of the top guys, your ace of spades, your ace of hearts and diamonds and all that. They had 5 of these guys locked up in Guantanamo. Obama decides at 2 o'clock in the morning, hey, we're going to give these guys back. And we're going to get one of our captured soldiers back, who happened to be a piece of shit named Bergdahl, who was not captured. He went AWOL, left his troop in the middle of the night, and then stumbled in to an army of enemies. Well, fuck you. That's what happens, bitch. So you gave up 5 high-ranking officials to get one piece of shit. And when I told my friend that, because he was trying to defend it, I said, by the way, to make that arrangement happen, you have to go through Congress. You can't do it on your own. The president doesn't have that authority. His response, I'll never forget, was just as good as Jim Cornette's. What do you expect him to do with this Congress? Congress, people, is there for checks and balances. That's why I'm not disgusted with the fact that Democrats have the House. We've got the Senate. We got the White House. But you do need checks and balances. Even if they're wacky people like Nancy Pelosi, you got to have some form of keeping things in check. And for all the crap they give Trump about, oh, he can't do this, he can't executive order that, this motherfucker has given up 5 captured prisoners of war, high-ranking officials, death bent on killing Americans. And that's not talking about the $500 million he gave to Iran in the middle of the night. If Trump would have done any of that shit, come on. Double standards, folks. It won't work. It doesn't work. And Jim Cornette is terrible. He is fucking awful. So, all right, I'm done. Now, I won't take anything away from Jim Cornette because when it comes to wrestling, he's brilliant. He knows the business, and I do believe that if somebody would let him run WWE, it wouldn't suck anymore. So, I mean, I'll give him credit for that. But that you know, he'll be one of those guys that talks about religion and says, well, yeah, if you want to believe in those fantasies and those little fairy tale stories of the Bible, I suppose, yeah, somebody could be living up there in the sky. Yeah, he's one of those guys, yet he'll believe that the video was doctored. Boy, you got to pick and choose which fantasies you want to buy, I guess. Yeah, well, the healthcare thing, that continues on and on. And how about, you talk about lies. You like your health plan, you keep your health plan. You like your doctor, you keep your doctor. Bullshit. None of that worked out, did it? All right, I have no idea how we got into this. I really try to separate one from the other when I do this stuff, but man, I think it was because of Uncle Jimmy. Uncle Jimmy did it. But he won't do it anymore because we're done with Uncle Jimmy over here on this channel. As much as I always hope to meet him one day just to sit around and bullshit wrestling and all that, I wouldn't even give him the time of day if I ran into him now just because of that one response. That's a brainless motherfucker. That's what that is. Sean, you're a bigger man than I am. I mean, again, I got plenty of people that are atheists that I'm friends with, things like that. And I don't beat them over the head with the Bible. I just feel like, if it's going to happen for them, it's going to happen for them. If they're going to see it, they're going to see it. I got a million stories to share with people that want to know the truth. And I'm not going to force it on anyone. I just, the way it happened for me, it'll happen for them if they're willing to. One of the things like a Jim Cornette would say is, oh, yeah, right. So there's a man up in the sky, but when was the last time he talked to you? He talks to you every day. You have to know how to listen. That's the trick. And most people are too ignorant to understand when they're being spoken to. Well, there you go. So then his mama. Was she really rich? I'm sure that was just part of the act, right? All right, number 2 won. Let's go and find out who that was, by the way. I knew there was something else we were going to do. Community Creations. Yes, no. So you knew her, but she wasn't rich? All right, I believe that was the one that won. And this is made by Forsaken 710. Congratulations, Forsaken 710. You are the winner of CAW. And then our runner-up. And again, there's a ton of Hogan. Somebody asked me the other day if I was going to make a Hogan. No! For what possible reason? There's 200 of them up there. Several of them are pretty good. Why would I compete with that? And they cover pretty much every timeline you want. And there's the guy who came in runner-up. Chromafly. He does a lot of good work. And this was good, too. And it really was a preferential thing. But There you go. Yeah, and that's why I would never mess with him, because, A, somebody, when you're putting up hundreds of Hogans, someone's going to have one good one, okay? And B, if you're trying to get to your next level, you know, whether it's silver, gold, or bronze, or whatever you're trying to get to, you're going to go very slow. Like these guys down. Actually, this might have been the winner here. Oh, shit. Now I'm not sure. Nah, I think I would have took the higher ranking. Hey, these guys look handsome as hell, don't they? Let's see, man. Who's this dude about? Oh, that's my stuff. Look at that. Billy Kidman is killing it, man. I'll tell you what. Every year I'm surprised. Like last year, my Ronnie Garvin was the one that just blew up. And I was like, really? Billy Kidman's doing really well. Marty Jannetty's doing really well. And then go figure. You go from 1,041 Jannetty to 242 on Shawn Michaels. I don't get that. These are mine, man. I already got the Freebirds. I made the Freebirds. Everything you see right now on the screen is created by yours truly. So there's Michael Hayes. Yeah, I think everything here, let me see. I think everything here is a face scan. Everything here is a face scan. Now, I did something new this year with a couple of them, like Marty Jannetty, for example, where I did a face scan off of last year's created wrestler, which in that case would have been by tongue list. So rather than going out looking for a photograph, I took a picture, a screenshot of the CAW from last year. Thank you. And it actually worked out really well. I was surprised. So I've got a Lawler. I just don't have anywhere to upload them to right now. Slots are all taken up. This I did for somebody as a request. They had already done one and didn't like the way it came out. And I got to admit, it was a little rough. So I took theirs because they let it be re-uploaded and went and redid the face and the hair. And I think the only thing I kept was the body they put together. And that was about it. I did the moveset and all other stuff. That is stunning, Steve Austin. Where is he? So when he first came in, he had some longer hair. And I've actually updated the trunks on the left side now. It's got that confetti look to them. We can pull him up here on screen in a moment. And then we've got, of course, the Hollywood Blondes, Hogan, Austin on the right. Let's do this. We'll do a fatal four-way. How's that? We'll go with the long hair version for this one. All right, here's my Lawler. Doesn't look so good in the thumbnails, but it looks a lot better once you get him in the ring. We'll go with that. And we'll go with Jimmy Garvin. And we'll go with Michael Hayes. There we go. You can find my work by doing a search for One Nation, the number one, and then the word nation. And again, these all had face scans. I may do just a little bit more work on Michael Hayes. I'm not sure. I had a bunch of stuff I had to do earlier this evening, which is why I didn't get to do a regular stream tonight like I normally would on a Monday/Tuesday morning. But around midnight, we'll be doing the regular stuff tonight. Thank you, Immortal. Just remember when you're doing the search, it's one nation with no space in between or anything. It's just all one thing, one nation.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Victoria, Texas, weighing in at 252 pounds, Stunning Steve Austin.
There's old Stunning Steve. And this one has his WCW moveset to it. So you won't see no stunners. So there's the new tights that I was mentioning before.
And his opponents, first, from Memphis, Tennessee, weighing in at 235 pounds, the King, Jerry Lauren.
I was surprised they didn't have Lawler's name in there. Thanks, Harold. I appreciate that, man. I had Jerry up for a few weeks, but just wasn't getting the numbers. Yeah, I've got Brian Pillman as well. I believe he's still up there. I think he's posted where you can download him, and it's got that attire.
And from Bad Street, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Weighing in at 233 pounds, Jimmy Gavin.
Oh, Jerry Lawler's had a lot of different looks. This is him in WWE days, though. He did not have the beard. See, part of my problem with that beard that people use is it's not the right shape. It kind of is, but it's so wide that it's not accurate. He had a very narrow version of that barely just covered his chin and his chin alone, whereas the in-game version goes almost over to his cheeks, and it just doesn't look right.
155 pounds, Michael P.S. Hayes.
But he did have the beard in the 80s. By I'd say late 80s, early 90s, he probably lost it. You understand me? Well, that puts you ahead of my ex-girlfriend. She never did. Yeah, I'm a Freebirds fan, too. They were great back in the day. Really love the way Austin's trunks turned out in this one. And I think I put the... it's basically like a confetti logo I created. I cannot recall Lawler against Maya V off the top of my head. Was it on one of the, like, In Your House shows or something? I don't recall it being shaved in a storyline. Very possible, though, because I wasn't watching Mid-South and USWA a whole lot back then. Whoa, shit, Jimmy Gar takes the dive into an empty swimming pool. Yeah, no, there's a ton of Memphis wrestling on YouTube. I'm sure you could find stuff there. I do have a Jim Duggan. Somebody else created it, and I think it was Uvular Wall, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, Michael Hayes moonwalking. Oh, no, I wouldn't have seen that then. Well, we got more action happening outside the ring than we do inside. Face first on the steel steps. Have we seen Jimmy Garvin go up against Michael Hayes yet? I was waiting to see if that would happen. Oh, look at this, trying to steal the pin off his own teammate. The old VHS days, man. I got still a bunch of VHS tapes, not nearly as many as I used to have. I finally just threw a bunch of it out, taking up space, and I knew I wasn't going to get around to watching all that again, so. Austin goes for the pin on Lawler, but the save made by Garvin. Savage and Lanny were really cool back in the Mid-South days. Yeah, I think I have that one on. I've got a collection of tapes. Oh, Lawler goes down low. Series of, I think it was 4 cassettes. And it's got Lawler and Savage. And also I think it's got Lawler and Savage in a cage. And their cage back then was like 2x4s with chicken wire on it. Very clunky kind of thing. And there you go. Immortal's got you covered if you need something. I know somebody asked me earlier about Beverly Brothers. Part of the reason I had to do this video today is I've now reached my maximum, 100 call slots? So I've got to start getting rid of some guys, so that Hulk Hogan that lost is going to go. And I got a couple of other things I got to do some work with, and then I can cut them loose as well. And BCW will probably take a hit to its roster because, like, if I need to free up space for actual talent for the main federations, then, you know, BCW is kind of a thing to do for a little while, and I'll keep doing it for a little while here and there, but I'm not going to sacrifice a whole bunch of created slots. Well, I appreciate it, Immortal. Right now, I'm pretty much good. I don't really see anything else that I need. The Twitter handle is at Invasion Nation. I might actually have that here where I can pull it up. It's been a while. That's funny. It's not popping up. Why would that be? Yeah, I might have to redo that then. Okay, that's working. Looks like I may have deleted some of my stuff that I used to pop up here on the menus. Boy, this match still dragging along here. Now Jimmy Garvin going to try and put away his tag team partner, Michael Hayes. Say it isn't so. The King with the save. Lawler been busted open. I am on PlayStation 4, yes, if that's who you're asking, yes. And there is the stun gun. Pile driver now. Austin busted wide open. Austin. Lawler just slapping Austin across the face. How that would change in a few years. Yep, Harold, I'm on the PlayStation 4. Nope, got Barry Windham too. I had him up until like a week ago, or a little less actually. I just put Johnny B. Bad up in that spot because I felt like Barry wasn't getting enough download love. And I made the right choice because Johnny B. Bad's been blowing up pretty good in a couple of days' time. He's definitely got me some downloads. Maybe we'll pop him up here in just a moment. I wasn't even going to make Johnny B, to be honest with you. I wanted him, but I figured somebody else would make one by now, and then nobody really made one. There was one out there, but, you know, wasn't what I was looking for. Garvin raked across the ropes, and Lawler needs to take advantage of the opportunity right now. These other two guys are fighting all the way up the aisle. They couldn't break this pin up if they wanted to. No, I'm not going with Cowboy Bob this time around because of the timeline that I'm operating in. He wouldn't have been involved in any of it. And the King. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that. His Royal Highness victorious.
Here is your winner, the King, Jerry Lauren.
Well, the King Jerry Lawler, victorious. Thank you again, Sean. Yeah, Theo, the team challenge was the death nail for AWA. They never came back from that. Yeah, it was beyond bad, man. It was so bad. All right, let's see. We'll take a look at my Barry Windham here. They're both it's two different looks for Johnny B. Bad. That's kind of like when he first came on the scene, and then that's a little bit closer to when he was running around with Kimberly. I personally kind of like this one a little bit better. Yeah, it was really bad. I don't think it was embarrassing to wrestling. It was just embarrassing to them. I mean, I just don't get it. I know wrestling was at a different place at that point in time, but it wasn't that. Foxy Boxing.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Texas, weighing in at 237 pounds, Barry Windham.
You know, you laugh, but that turkey on a pole match sounds like something that could get over. The native of Sweetwater, Texas, Barry Windham.
And his opponent from Georgia, weighing in at 232 pounds, Johnny B. Bad.
He is purty. All right, let's see what happens in this one. Johnny B. Bad. Yeah, Monday nights were good back in that 2000-ish, 98, I guess it was more, 98, 99, back when they had the white hot Monday Night Wars. Nice reversal by Windham to get out of that one. Still waiting to see if 2K is ever going to patch the fact that tag teams won't do their tag team finisher. Windham taking Johnny B. Bad all the way out to the floor with that clothesline. Old school versus new school right here. Well, I think by the time it was NWO Macho Man, it was starting to turn the corner Windham with a small package out of nowhere. Oh, shit. Heard that one in the cheap seats. Rams the head of Barry Windham into the most unforgiving portion of the ring. Now, don't judge the book by looking at the cover. Johnny B. Bad is a bad man. And if he can get the opportunity, he will hit you with the Tutti Frutti. Former Golden Glove boxing champion, and now goes for the cover, hooks the leg, gets 1, 2. Windham able to come out the back door. What a big win this would be for Johnny B. Windham has him up and plants him with a gourd buster. Johnny B looking up at the lights. Barry Windham now with the Irish whip sends him into the turnbuckle. Going for the Bulldog. This could be all she wrote. Head first. Windham pulling back on the leg, and he will not get the count. Johnny B. Bad managing to kick out of the Bulldog. We have seen that move put a lot of people down for the count. But Johnny B. Bad showing everybody he's not just anybody. Series of right hands. Belly to back suplex, and Barry Windham is down, and look at this. The flamboyant one. The Texas native with the back elbow. Now he's going to the claw hold, and that's got to be it. Referee's asking him if he's had enough. Shoulders are down. He should be counting them. Can Johnny B. Bad survive? No. Big win for Barry Windham. We take a look back at some of the action here. That small package really surprised him. The TKO dropping Windham, but wasn't enough to keep him down. Now, why would I want to go 1v1 with a guy named Killer Snowman? That doesn't sound promising. I've never been killed by a snowman before, but it doesn't sound like any fun.
Here's your winner, Barry Windham.
You know, I've never tried the online play version of any of their games. I've always heard bad things about them so far as, you know, crashing and just not performing well. A lot of glitching and hesitation and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's accurate or not. But yeah, it's just never been my thing, because when you have 1v1 in this, it tends to be like a lot of kicking and punching. It doesn't have the flow of a real wrestling match. Oz won't hurt you much. All right, guys. I think we'll do one last match here and call it a stream. And we will do that by featuring our winner. Might have to double check and make sure I gave credit to the right person, by the way. Vinny Vegas. How about Vinny Vegas? Let's go with this guy. Yeah, we'll job Brad Armstrong out. What the hell? This is one of Tongueless' latest creations. The thumbnail doesn't look spectacular, but man, once the in-game play starts, it's pretty damn on point. Japan Hall. Hey, you know what? Let's go to Japan. What the hell?
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Marietta, Georgia, weighing in at 226 pounds, Brad Armstrong.
I haven't decided yet, but I may do some work on a Tracy Smothers. Miami, Florida. Announced from Miami, Florida. Well, we might have to tweak that up a little bit. Prime time, welcome. You're looking at the winner of tonight's Call Wars. All right. Oh, look at Armstrong. Think he's going to come out. What happened, Brad? You think you're going to get up in my face, brother? Gonna send you back to Bullet Bob in a box, brother. What's it gonna do, Brad Armstrong? Yeah, but he doesn't live in Miami, Florida. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind about the Young Pistols yet. I don't feel like I need them. I got so many tag teams already. And I can use Brad as a jobber, which I kind of need jobbers always. Plus, I like Brad Armstrong. I don't think I've really done a lot with him. I did a little bit of UWF last season. Oh, yeah, Brad Armstrong was solid. Wasn't he a member of the Freebirds there for a little bit with the mask on? Well, he was Bad Street, wasn't he? Maybe I'll make a Bad Street out of him with the second attire. Wouldn't be hard to do, man. Just throw some gear on there.
Feel the power, brother.
Yeah, I might do a Bad Street with him. I didn't even think about that. That'll allow me to have two characters for the cost of one. Damn, Armstrong trying to pin Hulk Hogan. You gotta be kidding me. One. Oh, Hogan caught it. And now Hogan hammered away. No, sir. I've got nothing to do with Bullet. You know, for the time frames I'm working off of right now with WCW and WWF, there would be nothing I could do with that. But wait a minute. You've got to be kidding me. Well, business is just damn picked up right here in Japan. Brad Armstrong almost pulled up the upset of the year. Now Hogan powering out. Lesnar's in the ring. Hogan. Loading up the cannon. Knee right to the face. He may have broken his nose. Boot right to the face, and now Hogan hits the ropes, drops the leg, hooks, and just like that, despite the distraction, so I don't have an exact time frame. I blur the lines a little bit just because there's certain names that I've either not used or not used much, and I want to give them opportunity. Plus, it freshens it up for me a little bit. But, you know, like I said, we're going to dabble with the Cruiserweight division for WCW, even though I'm not doing Nitro.
Here is your winner, Hulk Hogan.
What happened to that Brock Lesnar, man? He didn't want any of this. He couldn't handle the 24-inch pythons, brother. What you gonna do, Brock Lesnar, when Hulkamania runs wild on you?
Yeah, I mean, Brad Armstrong definitely has plenty of different things I can do with him, especially now that I'm thinking about the Bad Street angle. I forgot all about that. All right, everybody. That is going to wrap up this edition of CAW Wars. Thank you guys so much for joining. It's been fun. It's been educational. It's been silly. Congratulations to Hulk Hogan, number 2. You are the winner of CAW Wars here on the Nation Network. We will be back around midnight and do our regular shows of stuff. I got some WCW lined up, I think. Got some WWF I got to get to. We've got the 21st of this month will be Starrcade. We will be doing the Survivor Series. I don't have the date set for that yet, but hopefully maybe by tonight I will. All coming up in the very near future right here on the Nation Network, so be sure to stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter at Invasion Nation, and just remember, the last N in the word invasion is the first N in the word nation.